Have you ever noticed that even when your income goes up, you don't actually feel richer? In fact, life feels more expensive, more stressful, and harder to manage, even with a better salary. This isn't your imagination. This is something called the money illusion. And it affects almost every person on the planet. Today, you'll learn why you feel poorer than your parents and grandparents. And how governments, businesses, and your own mind quietly contribute to it. The money illusion is a psychological bias where your brain focuses on numbers instead of value. For example, if your salary goes from $500 to $600, your mind thinks, great, I'm earning more. But if the cost of rent, food, fuel, and electricity rise faster, you're actually losing purchasing power, even with a higher salary. Your income number rises, but what your income can buy falls. That's the money illusion. Psychologists say most people make 3 big money mistakes. Mistake 1, judging money by face value. We look at the number itself, 10%, 500, 1,000. And assume bigger number equals more money. But the real question is, what can it buy? Mistake 2, overestimating raises. A 10% raise feels like a huge win. But if inflation is 12%, you're still losing. Mistake 3, underestimating price increases. When prices rise slowly, 2%, 3%, 5%, we barely notice. But over time, it destroys your savings and income power. This is why even educated people fall for the money illusion. Here's the part no one talks about. Governments know most people judge money by its number, not its true value. So when inflation rises, leaders can say, salaries are increasing. The economy is improving. And most people believe it. Because the numbers look positive. But behind the scenes, housing prices rise faster. Food becomes more expensive. Utilities cost more. Taxes increase. Savings lose value. Debt becomes harder to escape. This creates a population that feels like it's doing okay, while struggling more than ever. It's not a conspiracy, it's human psychology being used at scale. Your grandparents could live a comfortable life on a single income. Today, even 2 incomes often aren't enough. Why? Because inflation isn't hitting luxury items. It's hitting the essentials: shelter, food, transport, electricity, healthcare, education. These are things you can't avoid. So even if your salary rises, your life becomes more expensive faster. This is why modern stress levels are higher. This is why every year feels tougher. And this is why increased income doesn't translate to increased comfort. You're not failing. The system is changing faster than your salary is. You can't control inflation. But you can control how you respond to it. Here's how to break free from the money illusion. 1. Measure your real income. Your real income is your salary minus inflation. If your raise is 6% and inflation is 7%, you lost money. 2. Track your purchasing power. Ask yourself, what can my income buy today that it couldn't last year? If the answer is less, adjust your strategy. 3. Store money in assets, not cash. Inflation destroys savings. But assets like index funds, gold, real estate, skills, grow with time. 4. Upgrade your financial awareness. The more you understand the economy, the harder it becomes to trap you. This is exactly why this channel exists. There's another layer to the money illusion. One most people never realize: inflation quietly transfers wealth from savers to borrowers. Here's how. When the value of money decreases every year, the people holding cash lose wealth without even spending it. But people with debt, especially governments and big corporations, benefit from inflation. Their debt becomes easier to pay back because the money they owe is worth less than before. This is why governments aren't afraid of inflation. In fact, they actually need it. If inflation stayed at zero, government debt would suffocate the economy. But with steady inflation, the debt shrinks in real value. So while you're working harder for money that buys less, governments and large borrowers quietly get relief from the shrinking value of the money they owe. This is one of the least understood effects of the money illusion. A hidden wealth shift happening in plain sight. The money illusion doesn't just come from the economy. It also comes from your habits. When people earn more, they often spend more. Not because they need to, but because their brain adjusts their lifestyle to match their income. This is called lifestyle inflation. A slightly better paycheck turns into better phone, more subscriptions, eating out more often, upgrading gadgets, nicer clothes. But here's the catch: inflation is raising your expenses from the outside, and lifestyle inflation raises them from the inside. Combined, they make you feel trapped. Earning more but keeping nothing. Breaking this cycle starts with recognizing it. The money illusion affects all of us, but only a few people recognize it. Now that you know the truth, you're already ahead of most people. If you learned something valuable today, make sure to subscribe to The Hidden Economy, where we uncover the psychology, systems, and secrets behind how money really works. Thanks for watching.